What's up, party people? Sorry for the delay. Boris had to go potty. So, you know, when the dog's gotta go, the dog's gotta go. It's a thing that just has to happen. So, I'm sure some of you that are listening are excited, and some of you are just happening to stumble across this podcast at some other time, and that's all right either way. Please, for more information, follow some of the links in these descriptions. My name is Tim Locklear, which is timothylocklear.com. You can go there and find some references and podcasts correlating to some of the various subjects we're going to be discussing today. I'm riding with my dog, Boris, borisservicedog.com. He's pretty amazing. He's got a lot of things that he does for me, but one of the things he doesn't do is talk. He can't actually speak English. So if you see a service dog or a dog wearing a vest and you're just not sure, the best bet is to not talk to them unless they approach you. That's the best bet. Moving forward on today's discussion points, we have talked a lot over the past weeks about natural supplements and natural medicine. We've talked a lot about their benefits, their side effects, the results of them, of taking them. I have some friends who have talked about some of the negative side effects as a result of taking some of these supplements, and then the positive side effects. But whichever perspective you take, right? Whichever voice you decide to sound the most like, whichever one, it's going to be absolutely unanimously clear that the reason for what you're doing is hopefully not necessarily just to please yourself. Hopefully the goal is that you're getting better for you and for those around you, for those you care about. Hey Carol, I appreciate you listening. Again, you guys, this is a live broadcast right now. If you're listening later, you should have listened live. You'll really appreciate it even more. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is an apothecary. What is an apothecary? It's a term for a medical professional who formulates and dispenses materia medica to physicians, surgeons, and patients. That's according to the internet, of course. But I've always thought of an apothecary as sort of like a storefront kind of thing, right? That's always what I've thought of it as. And I've never thought of apothecary in a negative light. I do know some Christian friends in the past who talk a lot about pharmacopoeia, right? So, I mean, I've heard these terms loosely thrown around, but I don't really know a lot about them. I don't really know much. I didn't until today, until I did a lot of research, last week or so, about this subject. And it's an interesting idea that used to exist a lot more. Nowadays, we see things here in Omaha. There's a company called Kubat Pharmacy, and they always drive around with stuff and deliver pharmaceutical medicines. And then if you live in a state where certain other kinds of natural organic medicines are legal, then you can also have those delivered and just brought right to your door. And so technically those people would, to a degree, be considered a measure of apothecaries. It's interesting, just the idea of it, right? So with that theme in mind, before I go forward, just like a VA appointment, if you've ever been to one, if you're having suicidal ideations or thoughts, if you feel like hurting yourself in a real, tangible way, shut up, stop doing that, don't do that, step out, step away from yourself for a moment, get some help. We care, we give a crap, trust us. Call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. Please go to that website. They've got a lot of resources. We've also got a lot of resources that we can use to help you if we know that you need help. Moving forward, the first point I'm going to make is 5-HT freaking P, okay? 5-HTP, 5-HTP, 5-HTP. Tim, what's one of the supplements that you take that's legal, that you can buy anywhere, that's 100% amazing and helps a lot? 5-HTP, 5-HTP. How many times is this guy going to say that? I don't know, as many times as it takes for you guys to not forget it. 5-HTP. Quote from the article from lifeenhancement.com, not a biased source by any means, I'm guessing. 5-HTP can help restore serotonin levels, help improve general mood, depression, anxiety, insomnia, headaches, and migraines. another thing that can help improve all of those things at the same time is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I unfortunately am not able to go this evening to Jiu-Jitsu. I had planned on it, but some things changed, and I ended up going to do some painting, which I'm on my way to do right now. You guys will be enduring some of that while you're with me, scraping and painting and praising all of the things that exist that I have the opportunity to do this kind of work. The fact is, there's dozens and hundreds and millions of people across the world who wish they had the opportunity to be tired and go to work. That's a fact, Jack. So I'm definitely not going to complain. Although I will make commentary about its difficulty. That's all right. That's all right. 5-HTP can help restore serotonin levels. If you know anything about serotonin, it's a pretty effective means of not being depressed. So look it up. Check it out. It will change your life. That's a freebie. That's just the starter. Okay, that's the first point. If you look at like onnit.com/Joe Rogan or joerogan.com/onnit, I don't know. I'm a big fan of his podcast personally. I used to view him as kind of a douchey kind of a guy, kind of a bro-y, kind of an annoying dude with bro tank and a snapback kind of guy with big rim Oakleys, That's how I used to view Joe Rogan until I started listening to his podcast, started digging into his mind. Dude's kind of a psychonaut, and he's got a lot to say that's really valuable, and I really appreciate a lot of what he says. And I said and on purpose. He also says a lot about 5-HTP, about brain food. He talks all kinds of those things that I'm really into. He talks about mushroom tech and all the kinds of things that I'm into, the natural means of achieving the type of body that you really truly want. And I don't know a single person in the world, I don't know one who wants to be big or large or slow or poor or unhappy. I don't know anybody who wants to be that way, okay? And I would submit, based upon my experiences in all of the 30 some odd years I've been alive, that I would bet that if that person says they do want it, then that person is ill and they really don't want it. They're just ill. That's what I'll suspect and propose. So I guess it's less about, it's less about, I guess it's less about trying to figure out what the right thing is to take and more about ensuring that what you take and how you take it and where you take it, and ensuring that what you're taking comes straight from the source that you know as much as you can. As much as you can, I said. As much as you can. As much as you can. You and I both know it's not absolutely going to be possible all the time, but we hope it's capable. We hope we're capable of it, and we hope to do everything we can, right? That's a fact. So Joe Rogan talks a lot about 5-HTP, and he's one of the ones that I really found to be beneficial when I first started sort of digging into some of the natural medicine ideas, sort of the ideology surrounding natural medicine, right? And what I've come to find is that by and large, he's one of the few ones out there, even in the Canadian world, who's willing to say hard, difficult, challenging things no matter what. He's willing to say the tough, difficult things no matter what, and that's what's valuable. I really appreciate that about him. I'm not saying anything about his character or his whatever. I'm not saying anything about his character or nature. I'm just simply stating I really appreciate a lot of what he has to say about these kinds of issues. So moving forward, the first thing we're going to talk about, the subject of today's podcast is apothecaries, but really it could be titled 4 go-to supplements for PTSD. So if you have post-traumatic stress disorder, first of all, it doesn't just mean you're a veteran. That's actually a common misnomer that gets spread around by bad stigmas and people saying stupid things, but PTSD is not necessarily analogous to veterans. And so if you have PTSD and you're not a veteran, don't feel alone. Today you aren't alone, and there are people who care about you. We are one of those persons. Although our name of our organization is Veterans for Natural Rights, we do care about persons who are struggling with mental health and believe that the legalization of certain medicines that are currently listed as harmful, which we know clinically and statistically and by and large, legally are not harmful. Well, as soon as we see those kinds of legalizations, we don't want them to just be limited to veterans. We want those people who are ill to be able to gain safe and legal access to medicines that they so see fit, right? If they decide that that's something they want to take for them, then that's what they want to take for them, and that's what they choose, right? We want to see that happen, not just for veterans, but for citizens of this great nation that we so dearly love and respect and appreciate, even though we despise some of the behaviors and actions that our government takes. I digress. It's all your fault, guys. No, it's not. Read the description. I also posted a comment. For more information about the local advocacy work that we're doing here in Omaha, or maybe an archive of some of the old podcasts that I have, or some of the design work that I, Timothy Locklear, have, go to timothylocklear.com. I know it seems pretentious to have a link to your own name, but really it was just the best thing besides butthead.org. That was already taken, I'm sure. Don't go there. I don't know who it is, or some other sort of self-degrading pejorative that I could come up with. So again, moving forward, the first supplement that I think is really a go-to when we're really discussing the symptoms of PTSD, the issues related to your time in service, these kinds of situations that come up that are inexplicable kinds of bouts of anger or peculiarities. Go to the description, please, because there's links there. I'm not going to read from all of the article, mostly because of A, I'm mobile right now, and B, I think that you guys should be able to do a little bit of that homework there, hopefully, and just click through some of that stuff. GABA, G-A-B-A, the link there from Drax or Drakes.com. The name of the supplement is GABA. GABA. That's what it is, GABA, however you say it. GABA, quote from the article there, for those suffering from anxiety or insomnia, this important neurotransmitter can be the key to reducing symptoms. Wow. Well, you can keep reading on and on and on about GABA, but it's absolutely amazing. The only side effect that I have personally found, again, Timothy Locklear, the only thing I've personally found as a side effect that's negative is it can give you a bit of a sour stomach if you take it on a very empty stomach, which for me, one of my side effects of pretty severe depression is a lack of diet, hunger. I don't have really any appetite at all. The times that I have spent in the States where legal hemp extract is allowed to be consumed, I have found that to be an exceptionally good resource for working hand in hand with all four of these, or five of these supplements mentioned earlier. Again, I don't live in a state where that medicine is currently legal, and so until we see that, we're going to continue to talk about these supplements here that are completely legal and able to be purchased at any natural health food store, or I'm also sure cheaper and more efficiently online. You can also go and check out a lot of these places you can buy in bulk, and you can purchase bulk items or bulk bags of these supplements and then encapsulate them yourselves and save a significant amount of money. My wife just recently purchased a large bag from mountainroseherbs.com, I believe is their website. Mountain Rose Herbs is the name of the company, I believe .com or .org or .net, I don't know. But they have a big bag of Tulsi, and it didn't taste great. It wasn't great, because I made it into a tea, and I added a couple spoons of sugar, and it was the raw sugar, the organic stuff, and it was all right, but it wasn't great. It was not great by any means, and so I don't regret taking it. I'm glad that I had the chance to check it out. I just really, I really hope that I could find a mix that works. I used to really enjoy taking Tulsi with the, what is it? It's not the bergamot, but the. Well, anyway, regardless, I apologize. I really like tea. I really enjoy Earl Grey. There it is. I'm sorry. Earl Grey, there's a mix of Tulsi and Earl Grey that goes together really, really well. It's good cold and it's good hot, and I really like it. I love tea. It's really good. It's refreshing. It's revitalizing. Well, I feel like it's lining my stomach better than water does sometimes. Although I do love chugging water. It's excellent. Which, by the way, before I move on, before any of these supplements, it's important to mention, definitely need to be consuming as much water as you can, because all of these supplements are going to go hand in hand with water consumption. That's a necessity, right? That's an absolute necessity. So you can't just think that you're going to be able to get by with just taking these supplements and not changing your diet. There's an effect that you're going to need to Google. It's called the entourage effect. It's absolutely necessity. One thing works with the other, works with the other, works with the other. Moving on to the second one. First of all, make sure you're going up to the description and the comment. Read those links. Go to the articles. Save them. Research them. This is your job. You have a duty to find out what is going to work for you. You should all be aware of what does and doesn't work for you. You are the physician and the surgeon. You are also the patient. You are also the apothecary. That's what I believe. You should be doing it. You should be looking into 5-HTP. You should be looking into GABA. You should also be looking into this second essential go-to supplement for PTSD for veterans. That's going to be titled Ashwagandha, ASHWAGANDHA, Ashwagandha. Ashwagandha contains more useful medical chemicals, including withanolides or steroidal lactones, alkaloids, choline, fatty acids, amino acids, and a variety of sugars. While the leaves and fruits have valuable therapeutic properties, the root of the ashwagandha plant is the part most commonly used in Western herbal medicines. Go to that article there from chopra.com/article/what-is-ashwagandha. Check it out, please. Ashwagandha is amazing. You should buy it in the strongest doses possible and take the largest doses possible, as long as you're researching, because remember what I said at the beginning is that we should all be aware. We have the duty, right? We're not subcontracting our responsibility to heal ourselves to somebody else. We're relying on their data to a degree because we know that they've gone to more school about their human body than I have, but there's an element of trust that I don't have for people who are willing to prescribe medicine that is proven to kill people moving forward. Number 3 of the top 4 go-to most needed supplements for PTSD for veterans that are suffering from issues like insomnia, anxiety, stress, bouts of extreme anger. These kinds of things can really, really destroy somebody's life. So the number 3 is the Tulsi Holy Basil. I mentioned earlier my wife bought a large bag from Mountain Rose Herbs of the whole leaf ground up stuff, and you can eat it. You can capsulate it, or you can make it into a tea. I made it into a tea last night, or night before last. Mixed it with a little bit of sugar, and it is basically like black licorice. It wasn't good at all. I didn't enjoy it by any means, but at the same time, it was really, really calming, and that was what worked. So the second was ashwagandha. The third was Tulsi Holy Basil. The quote from the article in the U.S. OrganicIndia.com products, Tulsi Holy Benefits History, is, quote, modern research has classified Tulsi as an adaptogenic herb. Adaptogens have been shown to support the body's healthy reactions to stress. Healthy reactions to stress. If you know anything about post-traumatic stress disorder, it happened as a result of experienced traumatic events or traumatic injuries, and their mind has been clicked, or their mind has been readjusted and now can no longer appropriately view how they should deal with daily life. Again, we're talking about the 4 go-to supplements for PTSD. The first one was GABA, G-A-B-A. Go to the link there, the Draxa.com article. Or Drax or Drakes. The second was ashwagandha, A-S-H-W-A-G-A-N-D-H-A, ashwagandha. You should check it out. Okay, that's an important one. Got a good article there for that. The third is Tulsi Holy Basil. That's T-U-L-S-I-H-O-L-Y-B-A-S-I-L. Tulsi Holy Basil. Tulsi Holy Basil. Again, there's another product and article from Organic India. Organic India is actually one of the companies that my wife and I actually do choose to purchase our supplements through, and so it was just sort of a free plug for a company that we definitely suggest. We were purchasing most of our vitamins through Lucky Vitamin for quite a while, and now I think some of them are through Amazon. So it's really just about where you can find the cheapest, most organic quality supplements you need. Of the 4 Here is the fourth and definitely not least important by any means, turmeric, T-U-M-E-R-I-C. Turmeric benefits include so many healing properties that currently there are over 10,000 peer-reviewed articles published proving turmeric's benefits, especially one of its renowned healing compounds, curcumin, curcumin. Again, that's another article from Drake's or Drakesy about the turmeric benefits. Turmeric's amazing. If you've never taken turmeric, if you've never consumed it, it's something that can really, really change your life. If you experience any kind of chronic pain, you team MSM glucosamine with a good dose of holy basil and turmeric, and then large amounts of good physical activity. Man, I'm telling you, you guys are on course for some good, healthy feeling. That's for sure, no joke. Because a lot of people neglect these sort of essential nutrient-rich roots and supplements. These things can change your life, and they can, and I want to be very clear, I'm not a doctor, but they can and have, for thousands of veterans, I think it's safe to say, changed and replaced pharmaceutical medicines. Changed and replaced pharmaceutical medicines. That's a fact. So, if you're ever curious or concerned about what supplements you should be taking, that's a list of not just 4 but 5 supplements that you should be taking or considering as a means of managing your supplements in regards to PTSD, even perhaps considering traumatic brain injury, some issues related to untreated PTSD turning into bipolar disorder. These kinds of issues come up. Sort of, latent mental health or mental illness issues coming up as a result of untreated PTSD. These kinds of things happen all the time. We see it constantly. Our friends are constantly telling us stories about how their families are being ripped apart as a result of untreated PTSD. Because let me tell you something, even when it's treated, it's still really hard. It's still really tough. It's still really difficult. It's still really a big challenge. My wife still goes through a lot. And she does it because she loves me, but we know we're taking natural medicine that's actually making me better and not worse. We have a horizon to look at. We have hope for the future. We're not stuck knowing that I just have to take this man-made substance for the rest of my life. Instead, I know that I can perhaps grow some holy basil, figure out how to grow some turmeric, how to make GABA, how to grow some ashwagandha, and just get to it. Just figure it out. Make it work. We need to see the legalization of the medicine that's helping hundreds of thousands of people across the country and millions across the world and has been helping millions for centuries. We need to see that happen, and it's a necessity. So Veterans for Natural Rights has been engaging in a political, not political, but a legislative war to a degree to try in various states, including Colorado, to advance the cause of legalizing natural cannabis for the use of treating the various symptoms related to their time in service. That is a fact, right? There's places like Arkansas, Tennessee that are seeing some real change. Kansas, Missouri. There's a lot of changes happening all over the country, and people are beginning to wake up to the idea that natural medicine is not just a good, like when you walk into Walmart, you've got the organic or the non-organic. That's not what we're looking at anymore. We're not talking about comparing apples to apples when we're comparing Zoloft and ashwagandha, or when we're comparing Prozac and full extract cannabis oil. When you're talking about comparing those two things, because of the complex nature of the natural adversary of the Prozac or that Zoloft, it just can't touch it. It can't even compete. The natural side effects of taking these 5 supplements in full, just taking those 5, will be night and day. Okay? But you should talk to your doctor. You should. And you should educate him. You should come to him ready for war. Not because you want to pick a fight, but because you really do believe that these things matter. For dosing and information, Google it. I know that sounds harsh, but Google it. Become a doctor. Become an apothecary. Do it yourself. Nobody can hold your hand anymore, because you got to get up. You got to realize that these pills that we're on are killing us, and we can't take them anymore. And we don't want to keep dying, but we also can't be zombies, but we also can't be jerks all the time. So we got to find another way to function.
We have to. This is about adapt, overcome, survive, shoot, move, communicate. This is combat stuff here. This is basic. This is military infantry basics 101 here. So let's stay with it. Let's stick focused. Don't give up. I think that all these supplements are amazing. And my name is Timothy Locklear. You can go to timothylocklear.com for an archive of some of the older podcasts, some of the stuff I've designed. If you need some graphics designed or some stuff thrown together or need some help, if you're a veteran in a local community and you don't know where to get started, please send me an email, send me a message the page, contact us in some way or another, veteransfornaturalrights.org, or visit boristheservicedog.com. My dog is pretty amazing. He's a service animal. He was trained by Dylan'sDogTraining.com. And Russell Dillon is an amazing guy. He does work for free to help veterans receive safe access to service animals that are well trained, that do the work they're supposed to do. He has a nonprofit called Javelin that he works with. Lastly, I'd like to make sure I mention Strong Alliance. They're doing some great stuff. I don't know where they're at, but Amy Kale is an amazing example of what a wife and caregiver should be, along with my wife Jennifer. She's absolutely amazing. Both of these women, I believe, are excellent examples of how to deal with a spouse, or how to deal with a spouse who has PTSD or has TBI. Both Matt and myself have dealt with combat trauma, and we're both trying to get over it, and we're both trying to learn how to deal with it in natural ways, right? That's our goal here. That's what we want to get at. That's what we want to focus on. So please check out all those resources I've sent to you. Please ask any questions. You guys are beautiful, amazing people, and I just want you to know we're going to try to do another podcast tomorrow. I am actually not going to be on the page. I'm going to be trying to do a podcast tomorrow from Boris the Service Dog. We're going to have some discussion, boristheservicedog.com, about proper etiquette. We're going to talk about some experiences that we had recently with some folks at a local establishment, and we're going to discuss how we can better help facilitate education. So please stay tuned for that. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it, and we'll talk later.